Okay, guys, our trip is coming to an end. Just like all good things, this trip also has to come to an end. And I would like to give you a brief blurb of how these 10 days of our vacation, actually evolved. So, we are going to talk about it. Um, we met on the 22nd at LAX. LAX is a code for Los Angeles Airport. And then the day started when we landed there. And Sunny said, "You know what, Rochak, I almost got mugged." Why? Because somebody came out there, he tried to grab Sunny's phone. Sunny's instinct kicked in. He grabbed the thief's hand, and the guy panicked and ran away. So Sunny's phone was saved. Though, the screen guard was damaged, which we later replaced in Mexico. But that is the first instance that happened. Second, we tried to get a rental, and rental was over the roof. Third thing, we didn't realize California has 4 layers of taxation. Even if you buy water there, the plastic bottle is taxed apart from the water. So whatever you can find for $4 elsewhere would be $10 in California because taxation is so high. So the myth behind salaries in California, 200,000, 300,000, is a very big gimmick. So when people say they make that kind of money, ask me what they save. It's not about what you make, it's about what your disposable income is. That is something which we learned in California. Okay.
One kilometer or 1 mile of Tesla ride was $20.
Yeah, 1 mile of Tesla Uber was $20 for us. So what happens? We generally go impromptu. Honestly, we don't plan anything. Okay, we unlike some people who go to resorts, stay in hotels, meet people, swim, um, go to the beach, and that is how they say that we went to Mexico, we went to Cancun, we went to whatever location. I don't think, and honestly, we as a team don't think, me and Sunny, we don't think that's a vacation. Vacation is like, traveling. So there is a difference between a tourist and a travel. Tourist is you go to a place, you show your presence there, and you come back. Traveler is you mix with the locals, you blend with the culture, you learn a few words of the language. Okay, you experience the ups and downs, goods and bads of the place you go to, and that is how I would define a traveler. So this is day one. Then me and Sunny decide to explore California. So we somehow get a rental. We take the rental car and go to a place called Joshua Creek. Now Joshua Creek is a complete desert. Complete desert. And what happens is in Joshua Creek, we decide to halt. We stay in a motel, and ironically, the motel is owned by an Indian. So I don't know whether this saying is true. In US, 70% of motels, not hotels, are owned by Gujaratis. Hats off to them. The hotel was a modest one. We prefer to live in a modest hotel so that we can experience culture. We don't want Hilton and all. We don't want to shoot things over the budget because we don't get a vacation package. Vacation packages are cheaper. But when you travel, your budget keeps on increasing because you have to eat out, food is not included. So basically, we stayed at the motel and we found an Indian restaurant in Joshua Creek. And by the virtue of that motel, we got a 20% discount in that restaurant. There we had some very good food. That was day one. Next day, we picked up our car and we decided to go somewhere else. So where did we go next day? We tried to drive around, and then suddenly we decided, let's go to Las Vegas. And I had never seen Las Vegas. A guy like me who's not a party guy, Las Vegas, there's nothing to do. But Sunny wanted to take me to Las Vegas and show me around so that, I can say I went to Las Vegas. So we went to Las Vegas.
How was the drive?
Drive was excellent. And then what happens is the car that we were driving was a sedan. Now, sedan had a low ground clearance and it had bucket seats. Now, talking about bucket seats, people who know about cars would understand what bucket seats are. But in layman terms, a bucket seat adjusts to your body, a spinal alignment. But there is one catch. When you try to get out of that car, it's difficult because getting out of a car that is very low on the ground I mean, driving such a car may be safer, it doesn't topple over. But getting out of such cars is very difficult. So Sunny had a spasm. And then it happened, ironically, in Las Vegas. And Sunny couldn't move his head. And I was scared. I said, "Oh my God, a trip just started and now it's about to end." So I recommended he see a chiropractor. Now, he had never gone to a chiropractor. He was skeptical about going to one. But we went to one. Now, that chiropractor, ironically, turned out to be the best chiropractor on TikTok. That gentleman adjusted Sunny. We paid him around $75, but it was worth it. It was actually worth it. Sunny could move his head now, but he was still sore. And then what we did was, I think, where did we find a hotel after we left Vegas? We didn't get a hotel in Vegas,
Yeah, we
right?
didn't want to stay in Vegas.
Okay, so we probably went elsewhere.
We went back to LA.
We went back to LA.
So, and talk about the food at the gas station.
Oh yes,
No, we went back to California, not LA.
yeah. So we were somewhere near,
About 1 hour from here.
yeah, 1 hour from LA, and it was a small town starting with H. I don't know what was the name of the town. And then we tried to find an Indian restaurant, and then we stumbled across a restaurant at the gas station, which was owned by the gas station guys and a gentleman out there by the name of Mr. Singh. He was a cook there, and he actually gave us food which was authentic homemade Indian food. It was a gem. I mean, it has been ages since we tasted those kind of food. The potato paratha, I mean, the naan, everything was wow, yum.
It was like Gharka.
Yeah, it was like ghar ka khana, which means homemade food. I mean, that was a second thing, and then we tried to find a motel again. So we went to a place which was again owned by a Gujarati. It was some GT motels or something. A lot of rooms there, and we told them like we are vloggers and all. So he gave us a suite. A suite means like we had a living room, we had two beds, but the problem out there was the bed sheets were itchy. So I kept on scratching myself the entire night. But then, you know what? We were tired, so we slept. Next day we left. And then me and Sunny decide, you know what? Let's go to Mexico. So now what happens is we return the rental car, and then we decide how should we go to Mexico. So we Google it. So we find, like, near San Diego border there's a place called San Cedro. Now San Cedro, you need to take a bus from Union Station, Union Station LAX, Los Angeles, and that bus takes around 3-4 hours and brings you towards the border. From the border, you cross into Mexico, which was a breeze. But then, we had heard horror tales about Mexico, that Mexico is unsafe. It's unsafe to cross in the night. We still did.
What time did we cross the border?
I think around two. Around two, we crossed the border. There were 4 or 5 people crossing the border at that time. We crossed into Mexico. Okay, immigration was there. We were greeted by a very beautiful Mexican lady in immigration. We barely spoke Spanish, but we could say hola. Hola means hi, and gracias. Gracias means thanks. That's what we could do. And she asked us, like, for how long do you intend to stay in Mexico? We said just 4 days. But we overstayed. Okay, so we went inside. Now at 2 o'clock we crossed the border, and now when we crossed the border, we panicked because Mexico again. We were manifesting like we would be robbed, something would happen, and we decided to get a shelter somehow, a hotel somehow. But again, hotels at that time of night were difficult to find. We couldn't find anyone.
We
But
walked for what, an hour?
yeah, so we walked for an hour, and then we came across a seedy hotel, which was in downtown. And apparently, the guy asked us, do you want to rent for an hour? I said, what do you mean? He said, you can rent for an hour as well. I said, no, we need the hotel for the entire night. We entered the hotel. I mean, honestly, this was the worst hotel we stayed into. two beds. It smelled like, how should I say it, as if you have not washed your socks, dirty socks. And honestly, the bed was the dirtiest bed we could come across. On the roof, we had a lot of spiders. And what me and Sunny did was we put towels on our beds and we slept. And we were tired, we slept. As soon as it was sunrise, we just left the hotel.
We needed somewhere to go because it was at night.
Yeah,
We
because
needed safe.
we needed a shelter because we could have been robbed, something could have happened. And apparently, there were people walking around, there were a lot of homeless people walking around. They were, you know, uh, guys like, teenagers, they were biking around and all. We got scared that, this is our first day in Mexico. We don't want to get robbed. We had a passport, we had money, we had everything. I mean, we had everything to lose. And there are other instances as well, the drug epidemic out there and all what people say, Mexico generally, we'll talk more about Mexico, but the point is we were kind of scared. So this was our first day in Mexico, and then what happens is, in the morning after taking a shower and all, we found out an Indian restaurant. Okay, so we have made videos about that Indian restaurant. The name was Punjabi Indian Cuisine, and the gentleman out there was from Delhi. So we started chatting with the gentleman and asked, "Sir, where should we go now?" He said, "Go to Ensenada. Okay, it would be a very good ride for you." We owe this to that gentleman, Mr. Singh. Otherwise, we thought we'll run away from Mexico because there's nothing to do in Mexico. It was because of Mr. Singh we stayed the 7 days in Mexico. So we went to Ensenada on his recommendation
The next day.
the next day. Uh,
How did we get there and how much time did it take?
so Ensenada, we took a bus. It was a very good bus for Ensenada. Where did we take a bus from?
Tijuana.
No, Tijuana where?
Tijuana. ABC bus stop by the airport.
Okay, so we took a taxi. The taxi dropped us uh, as passengers to a bus station. It was a private bus station. It,
ABC.
yeah, ABC. We took a bus. I think we paid $12 each US, and we went to Ensenada.
Oh, and how was the bus service compared to Greyhound that we took
Yeah.
from LA to San Diego?
Yeah, imagine. Honestly, what people mention as the third world has better services now. Honestly, buses are so good in Mexico, in India. The facilities and all better than any bus that we have actually used here, private bus. So what happens is we sit in that bus. The bus takes us to Ensenada, and as soon as we come to Ensenada, we are charmed by the town because it's a small coastal town. Like cruise ships they come there and all, and it's kind of a happening town in terms of. I won't say it's a party place, but because sailors come there, they need some fun, they need some entertainment. Out there, we found a hotel, which was a love hotel. I made video about that love hotel as well. We took two beds there, and again they asked us, "Do you want to rent for an hour?" I said, "I'm staying with my brother. Okay, we don't want it to rent for an hour." So they also suggested, like, what, if you want to, like, enjoy here, I mean, you want to, like, bring some friends here, and, like, what I mean, like, we want to keep it family safe, so we don't want to say anything. So I said, what, I'm not interested. The security guard tried to offer his services as well. He said, what, if you need something, just let me know. I said, no, we are not here to do all that stuff. We took that hotel for 2 days. The stay was worth it. I asked him, are the bed sheets clean? I mean, honestly, that was the cleanest hotel we lived in because, the service was excellent. The hotel was very nice. And those 2 days were worth it. And we explored the downtown. We met some people there. We went to a very good restaurant, which was Spanish colonial architecture. After 2 days, we decided to go somewhere else. So,
And then, as a vegetarian,
yes.
what were some of the food options that you explored?
So the point is, Mexico is a haven for non-vegetarians and people who like seafood. But for somebody like me, I had to find some vegetarian options. So the closest vegetarian option I could try was rice and beans. like Indian Rajma Chawal. I mean, the taste was yum, but there's a catch. You need to ask them what is the gravy made of. Sometimes the gravy is made of pork. Okay, the broth. So basically, you have to ask them what exactly is that. Then burrito. You ask for a vegetarian burrito. Now, burrito would be something like a naan, a chapati, and they customize it. They put rice, beans, and some stir-fried vegetables in it. Um, I could have some salads. Sunny could have some free food, some chicken, seafood, chicken, and all. So he could do it. And yeah, the food I had to make some reservations there, but it's not that I was hungry. I always ate something. So 2 days we spent there. We really enjoyed it there, but then we got bored, and we decided to explore further. So after those 2 days, what did we do? So these are 5 days, just a 5 days, right?
Yeah, we rented a car.
Yes. Okay. Then we decided to rent a car, and on the rental provider's recommendation, we went to a small town called San Felipe. San Felipe was a beach town, nothing much there, a strip, which means a small lane, road, and everything was there, and you stay in hotels there. And because it was off season, there were not many tourists. Again, it was kind of boring. So because we had a rental, we decided to drive around. So we drove further, and then we drive around aimlessly, and there was nothing, and we got bored. This was the sixth day, right? So then we decided, on Sunny's recommendation, to go to Mexicali. Okay, so we went to Mexicali. So Mexicali is again a border town, and we have made videos for the cathedral and the border wall there. So Tijuana is also a border town. Mexicali is also a border town. They are around 3 hours apart. We went to Mexicali. Mexicali, we found a vegan restaurant. The food was good, and we took a hotel for 2 days. Yes, we stayed in that hotel for 2 days. So Mexicali, we spent 2 days. Mexicali, there was nothing to do in Mexicali, but yes,
Spent one day.
one night in Mexicali. Okay, we spent one night.
Yeah, we found a
Yes,
hidden gem.
yeah. So because we came back to Tijuana after that. Okay, Mexicali, we stayed one day. I'm sorry, but we left Mexicali in the afternoon, right?
But when we went to Mexicali, what did we find?
The vegan food, right? The hidden gem out there in Mexicali was vegan food. I mean, you have that video on our channel as well. So this gentleman out there, his wife practices yoga. There are three partners. There are three owners to the Mexico vegan place, and the gentleman, his wife, and there is another lady. So three people have partnered to open a vegan restaurant. We asked the motivation to open that restaurant, and they said, you know what, my wife practices yoga, and she learned in yoga not to hurt anybody. The people who practice yoga are zen. I'm also thinking of joining a yoga teacher training. Maybe my mind calms down. So she decided to go vegan, and I said, are you vegan? She said, no, we are not vegan per se, but we are vegetarians. But the restaurant was completely vegan. And
What do we eat?
yeah, so what did we eat there? We ate a vegan burger made of beans. We ate rice and beans. Uh, French fries were homemade, so good, unlike the frozen ones you eat. And then they made something,
Tamales.
tamales. So what is tamales? I honestly don't know what is tamales. It's something like it was vegan tamales. It was a Mexican dish. Anybody who knows what a tamales is, this was a vegan version of tamales, which was made of spinach and corn. And then there was a certain soup made of corn that he served us. Legend says uh, the soup was originally made of humans. You
Human
know,
sacrifice.
yeah, human sacrifice. Cannibals, which were
Aztec.
Aztecs. Okay, Aztecs used to punish some humans and make soup out of them. But he was making it out of corn and all. That was a legend there. We packed some food for ourselves as well, a burger, two burgers each, one burger each, sorry. And then we left that place after thanking them. Now we decided to go back to Tijuana. And surprisingly, Tijuana, the first day, the Tijuana that we saw was this Tijuana was way different, more happening, downtown, everything. We went to Tijuana, we tried to get a rental. But here the scam comes. Out in Tijuana, they wanted us to take insurance. Rental was cheap, like rental was a $7 per day, but there was a hidden catch that for $40 per day you have to get insurance. So rental would cost around $47,
$90 a day.
$90 a day. Okay, so it was $97 then. So this was around $97. And I told him, I said, you know what, I booked the rental through booking.com and I actually have paid for the insurance. They said, we don't recognize that insurance. And then when we decided to cancel it, because they wanted us, they wanted, apart from that, they wanted a security of $14,000, which we were not willing to pay. So we canceled the rental. We had already paid around 202 something dollars, and we lost $59 on the rental, so which was a scam. Basically, they wanted to sell us insurance, they wanted to take our money, but they didn't want to give us a car. We would not like to name the company, to we don't want to like do that, but the same company didn't do the same thing elsewhere, but they did the same thing out there. So Tijuana, obviously we couldn't get a rental. uh, I'm sorry, we already got a rental from Ensenada, right? So when we got a rental from Ensenada, that was a cheaper one from the same company, and he said you can drop it at Tijuana. So again, Tijuana, last 2 days we spent in Tijuana, hidden gem, but again there were some scamsters, just like a fake valet. We tried to park the car in the downtown area, and a fake valet came and said, "Oh, you know what? You need to park here." The price was 50 pesos, but when we tried to get our car back, he charged us 100 pesos. That was one scam. Apparently, I wanted to sit in the car because Sunny was trying to get. Sunny was busy elsewhere. He went to a barber shop or something, which took an hour. So I didn't want to sit in the barber shop. I decided to explore, but I decided to sit in the car. The valet said, "No, no, no, you cannot sit in the car. The police would catch you and all." He made a fool out of us. Apparently, it took fuel out of the car, and we didn't notice it. Now, this is one aspect that happened. We realized that we have lost fuel on the last day when we tried to drop the car at the airport. But that's another thing. As soon as Sunny was done, we decided to go back to that Punjabi restaurant and have some food. Now, downtown, owing to Christmas celebrations, was kind of closed. So the GPS directed us to a place that was near US border. And because it was nighttime, we couldn't read the signs. We accidentally entered the US border, the lanes that would take us to the US border. We were caught there. Some guys caught us there and said, you know what, you pay us $120 and we will put you on downtown lane and you can go back. Otherwise, if you enter the US border, you might have to pay a fine. The fine could be $1,000 to $5,000. So we decided to pay that guy. Now, we didn't have cash, and we were not carrying our passports as well. So we decided to pay. They took our credit card. They took one credit card and said, "Oh, your credit card is not working." Then they took the second credit card, and we checked the bill, and honestly, we were scammed of $400. So basically, that happened there, which was very unsettling. So this is the second scam that happened. Sorry, the third scam that happened. So these are some scams that actually happen. We need to be mindful of. But yes, we went back to the Punjabi restaurant. We ate food there. We went to a hotel which we had used earlier, stayed there, and in the morning we decided to drop the car at the rental. That is where we dropped the car. We took a taxi, went to the San Isidro border, crossed into US.
How easy was
It was a cakewalk because we have high security clearance, both of us. It's called global entry, which means US and Canada, any airport that we want to access, it's easy check-in, easy check-out, like easy getting into the airport, easy getting out of the airport. But that's a different story. We'll make a video about that later as well. But right now, we We reached at 2 or 3
Okay.
here. 4?
Oh, we crossed the border around 9 o'clock.
Okay,
Took a 10:15 bus
okay,
and arrived at Union Station in LA. 2:30.
2:30. Okay, so we crossed the border, as Sunny said, at 9ish. Took a bus at 10:15 that dropped us at 2:30 at Union Station. From Union Station, we did a walk, went to get some Indian food, which was again very good. The name of the restaurant was Tulsi, and we wanted to try that restaurant. Again, it was a very good restaurant, food was good,
Prices were reasonable.
prices were reasonable, and we ate, and then we decided to catch a movie to kill time. So right now, if you look around, we are again at the movie theater. Our movie has finished, but we decided to make that video to give you a brief blurb of what exactly happened. Guys, subscribe to our channel, stay connected. Honestly,
And then overall, what do you think about the trip? And what recommendation do you have for people going to Baja California?
yeah, so overall, our recommendation is if you are married, if you are with kids, if you are with a family, don't take a risk like we did. Honestly, it's impromptu. We had scams, but honestly, we were lucky. There are a lot of things that happened we would not like to talk on a YouTube channel. As I said, it's family friendly, so we would not like to talk because we don't want to scare you. But it's not our recommendation to cross the border in the night. It's not our recommendation to go to any hotel. It's not our recommendation to just opt for a rental. It's not our recommendation to go out in the night, especially, and get robbed, especially when you are very obvious. Now, honestly, me and Sunny, people thought like we are Latinos, so basically we didn't face much of a problem. But people who can stand out should stay away from these kind of situations. Other than that, I would like to say Mexican people are excellent. People are very nice. Nobody bothers you. People might do whatever they might do in their personal life. There might be some security issues, but it's not with tourists. It is not with normal people. That's the reason people go there. And yes, sorry, I forgot to tell you something. Yesterday or day before yesterday, we decided to go for a drive, and we found a hidden gem. That was Sabrina's Cafe, Billy's. Okay, that is where we found that cute doggo, and the cat, and Sabrina as well. Now, Sabrina is a gem of a person. We went to that beach there, which was more of a bay, waves lashing as a lashing. It was cold, it was foggy, and then we decided to warm ourselves up by catching some coffee or something. So we found this restaurant, which was called Billy's, and at first we just spoke to the bartender who could barely speak English, passable English. He could speak English, but then we saw a lady working in the kitchen, and apparently uh, we decided to speak to her. And then one of us asked her, like, "Are you the owner?" She said yes. And then we asked us, then she asked us, like, what is the motivation of you coming here and all? And we said we are like YouTubers and all, and honestly, we are exploring Mexico and all. Sabrina told us her story, like how she struggled and all. Now, Sabrina was apparently very well qualified. She went to school in France. She went to school in US. She was a pastry chef. She was baking everything herself. She gave us complimentary food as well without even knowing us. And then she told us about the dog and the cat. She said, "I only rescue street animals." The dog and cat was so friendly. All they wanted from us was love. Though the dog was pit bull, a female pit bull. The dog could have been aggressive, but the dog was lovely. I was initially scared because I'm scared of dogs, but now I realize I shouldn't have been intimidated because the dog was very good. Um, Sabrina told us her story, like how she started that cafe, and she paints. So the cafe was actually decorated with her paintings. There were a lot of fluffy toys around. And guys, I would recommend that you visit Sabrina at least once, and you would like her as a person, and you like the cafe. She would treat you like family. That's why I'm saying Mexicans are very good people. Another thing I want to tell you about Mexico, there are pharmacies that are open 24 hours. Those pharmacies can help you if you fall sick. You don't need to go to a doctor. because honestly, you won't have insurance and all. And if you go to a doctor or a medical place, I mean, and if you don't have insurance, you might have to end up paying a fortune. Pharmacies are cheap. You can get some milk, you can get some yogurt, you can get some chips, you can get chewing gum, you can get toiletries, a lot of stuff there. So basically, Mexico is good for this. So as I said, our trip is coming to an end now. We might advance to LAX. We might have to take a taxi because it's nighttime. We don't want to walk the downtown because it's kind of unsafe. A lot of homeless people around, a lot of drugs. I mean, overall, money well spent, friendship rekindled, new friends made, and experiences for life. That is how I would describe this trip. But again, we would recommend you don't do anything foolhardy. You're not of the age to do anything foolhardy if you are of our age, and if you are kids, you need to be extra careful as well. Even if you're in your teens and all, you want to do something crazy, don't do this because if something happens, you won't come back. I'll tell you something. Had we crossed the border that day, okay, we won't have entered Mexico because we didn't have the passport and we would have lost our luggage, we would have lost everything. I mean, seriously, you don't want to be in that situation. So, again, like our channel, subscribe, and we'll keep you posted. Thanks, guys.